Season 18 of the Go Battle League is officially here in Pokemon Go. And as always, every single season, different Pokemon get new moves, different Pokemon get nerfed, and we gotta talk about it. What do you guys need to know about this new season? The best Pokemon? Let's get into it. Okay, well, first things first here, we're gonna hop on this website where we can take a look at everything that got changed. If you don't care or already know all the move updates and stuff, you can check the timestamp, skip to when I talk about what's good. But first of all, we have a new fast attack Metal Sound. It's gonna do 3 damage in PvP, 6 in gyms and raids, and these are the Pokemon that can learn it. Also, a new fast attack Psy Wave doing 3 damage in PvP, 4 damage in gyms and raids. These Pokemon can learn it. Ooh, Malamar getting Psy Wave. We also have a new fast attack Sand Attack doing 2 damage in PvP, 4 damage in raids. I think this is a Fury Cutter clone, but like a ground type move, so that's kind of cool. Other attack changes, Shadow Bone got buffed, so Alolan Marowak's gonna be happy about that, getting 80 more damage. Brick Break now takes more energy, but is guaranteed to drop the opponent's defense, similar to kind of like a Poison Fang-ish. Actually, some cool Pokemon that can learn that. Cross Chop got buffed 5 damage, Machamp will be happy about that. Aqua Tail got buffed by 5 damage. Not sure if that was necessary, because there's one Pokemon that makes this kind of broken. Also, Water Pulse does 10 more damage and costs less energy, so Water Pulse kind of becoming decent. Finally, different moves that Pokemon got access to. Goodra got access to Aqua Tail this season, Empoleon to Steel Wing fast attack, Feraligatr to Shadow Claw, which is huge, Gallade to Psycho Cut, which is huge, Araquanid got Water Pulse, Throw got Brick Break, Sock got Brick Break, Crocodile got Brick Break, Crab Brawler got Brick Break, Crab Dominable got Brick Break, Hakamo and Como got Brick Break as well. Diglett got Mud Shot, Dugtrio got Mud Shot. If you don't know, these were actually like exclusive legacy moves that were unobtainable before on Diglett and Dugtrio, and a couple of these other Pokemon like Psybeam, Starmie. But it seems like Niantic is taking that away, and there's no longer things as unobtainable legacy moves, like not even with an Elite TM. So yeah, that's kind of cool. None of these really bottom ones are very important. Lileep got Bullet Seed, which used to be super rare, but now it's not. Anyway, let's hop onto PvPoke. This is the website you need to know if you want to see what is good in Pokemon Go and what isn't. And let's take a look at the Great League. What are gonna be the best new Pokemon for this league? And starting off with probably the biggest change, which will be Feraligatr. Now, Feraligatr got access to Shadow Claw. Before, Feraligatr had Waterfall, which was terrible, but Shadow Claw, one of the best fast moves in the game. And as you can see, Shadow Feraligatr taking rank 9 and regular rank 18. Having the combination of Shadow Claw and Hydro Cannon is like absolutely big for Feraligatr, allowing you to spam. I believe it's like every, 6 Shadow Claws you get, or even 5 Shadow Claws you get a Hydro Cannon. It's insanely spammy. Be able to obviously beat a lot of the fire type Pokemon, the ground type Pokemon, and also able to beat things like Annihilate, which is pretty popular because now has Shadow Claw and is for super effective, right? So it won't do well against other water types, unfortunately, as you can see, losing to Lantern, Wishcash, Azu, stuff like that, just because it can't really hit them back for damage, but still, a great Pokemon, actually ranked number 1 as the safe swap this season. It's a very hard Pokemon to answer correctly, so if you put it on the Switch, you can do very well. The second biggest change is probably gonna be Empoleon getting access to Steel Wing. Empoleon has a very good typing in being a water and steel type Pokemon, being able to resist a lot of things, and now it can spam out moves because Steel Wing is a very good fast move now because of last season's buffs. Again, probably gonna play kind of similar to Feraligatr. You could use it on the safe swap. I could see you doing there. The Shadow is gonna do better here because it's gonna be able to do more of that Steel Wing damage, but again, spamming with the Hydro Cannon. It's got the Drill Peck coverage as well for the fighting types. Like for example, it loses to Annihilate here, but you could actually win that matchup if you land a Drill Peck. So yeah, overall, another great Pokemon, definitely worth considering on your roster. Gonna be seeing probably a lot of double water teams this season. That's something we're gonna talk about, a lot of great water types this season. Now, my personal favorite buff this season is gonna be Gallade, and specifically the Shadow Gallade is the one you're gonna want in the Great League. As you can see, the difference, ranked 22 versus 84. Gallade got access to Psycho Cut, making it one of the spammiest Pokemon in the Great League. It takes 4 Psycho Cuts to get to a Leaf Blade and 5 to a close combat, which are 2 of the most broken moves in Pokemon Go PvP. Gallade is amazing. You do need shields for it. It is a very, very glassy, as you can see, attack weighted Pokemon, but give this thing shields, it's gonna be a destructive closer. It's actually very well ranked as a lead. It's ranked number 1 lead because I think with shields, in the 2 shields, this thing is absolutely destructive. You do need the Shadow though for this one. Do not go after the regular form. Get the Shadow. Next up to mention in the Great League will be Goodra. Goodra got access to Aqua Tail, which is amazing, but before, Goodra didn't really have any good bait moves. It had Muddy Water, which is just a terrible move, but now it has Aqua Tail, which also got buffed this season. So Goodra is gonna be a great dragon Pokemon. I don't know if Goodra will be the dragon of choice. I do think Dragonair still might be a little bit better, just because also Aqua Tail got buffed on Dragonair. It might just be a better Dragon Breath Pokemon to use in the Great League in the Shadow form, but still do consider Goodra. It is an interesting Pokemon, and the great thing about Goodra, I will say, is it does have Power Whip, so it can hit all the water types this season. If you actually look at the top rankings here, like look how many of these are water types. There's 4 water types in a row. Yeah, I definitely think water types are gonna be everywhere this season, so. Next one to talk about is gonna be Hakamoa, which is the middle stage of Jangmo-o, not the fully evolved one. It got access to the buffed Brick Break with Dragon Tail, Dragon Claw, Brick Break. In the Great League, I could definitely see this thing being decent. Again, I don't know if you're gonna choose it over a Shadow Dragonair, but it is nice to have Brick Break, especially with something like Empoleon maybe getting more popular, being able to hit that Pokemon for super effective. I also will mention Go-Goat. Not everybody has Go-Goat. This is an exclusive Pokemon to the City Safari events. I do have one, but Go-Goat does have Brick Break, and it has Vine Whip, and it has Leaf Blade, and it's a grass type. So all the water types that you're gonna be seeing, definitely stay tuned. Probably going to Go-Goat might be decent here as a little bit of a core breaker if you have. In the Great League, I also mentioned Shadow Hippowdon getting the new Sand Attack. I actually tested this one on stream. Didn't have the most success with it, but I do think it's an interesting Pokemon that could find its play. Kind of like similar to like Galarian Stunfisk, but with like less bulk and more offensive, I would find. You're probably better off just going with a Galarian Stunfisk, but still, you know, Shadow Hippowdon, something to consider. And finally, I'll mention these 5 Pokemon. Machamp got buffed with Cross Chop, so Shadow Machamp's gonna be a little bit better. Probably still not gonna be good as things like Poliwrath or Annihilape as fighting types, but still. Same with Obstagoon, which I think Obstagoon's gonna be a lot better in the Ultra League, but Cross Chop did get buffed. And obviously Alolan Marowak and Shadow Alolan Marowak, Shadowbone got buffed. I don't know if this is gonna make it the best Ghost Fire type Pokemon. I think Skeledirge is still a better choice, but you know, it did get buffed, so worth a mention. Now there's a term I like to call called secret buffs, which is when other Pokemon get buffed, these Pokemon do well against those Pokemon, so they get buffed as well. So let's talk about a couple of those. First of all, Cresselia this season is actually the new #1 ranked Pokemon, and I think mainly it's just because it's a bulky Pokemon that has Grass Knot. It's gonna be really, really nice against all the water types you're gonna be seeing this season. Lanturns to counter the other water types, Azumarill, Wishcashes, Empoleons, different things like that. I think Cresselia will be a great Pokemon, and also has Future Sight to hit fighting type Pokemon. So overall, Cresselia, I could definitely see why it's in the rank 1 slot. I also do think Lanturn got buffed again this season. Lanturn is just an amazing Pokemon. If you can keep it away from grass types, Lanturn is probably one of the best Pokemon because it does so well against all of the meta. There's really not anything except for grass type Pokemon that Lanturn cannot beat. Like even something like a Gligar, which can hit it for super effective damage, Lanturn, it's just an amazing core breaking Pokemon. So I love Lanturn, definitely a Pokemon to consider on your team. Also, Mantine is a nice one to mention. Wing Attack, Aerial Ace, Ice Beam is very interesting coverage, able to hit Dragon type Pokemon as well as fighting type Pokemon. Again, might struggle a little bit against some of the water type Pokemon. Again, something like a Lanturn will destroy it, but still a Pokemon worth mentioning. And finally, the Pokemon that I think will honestly be maybe one of the best Pokemon to run this season, Chargabug. Volt Switch, X Scissor, Discharge into the top meta right now is looking absolutely amazing, and there is not a lot of Pokemon other than things like Galarian Stunfisk, I guess Gligar, Registeel that can really beat it, Bastiodon, but are those that popular, right? Like Chargabug beats Cresselia, it doesn't beat Registeel, it does decent against Lickitung, loses against Gligar, it can beat Swampert, it can, well I guess it loses to Carbink, but it can beat Skarmory, it can beat Swampert, it can beat Feraligatr, it can beat Lanturn, it can beat Mantine, it can beat Mandibuzz, it can beat Quagsire, kind of, probably. Overall, I just think it has a very good matchup spread. Definitely a Pokemon to consider for the Great League. And with that being said, let's jump over to the next league, the Ultra League, and what are the best new Pokemon? And as always, the Ultra League, very, very similar to the Great League. As you can see here, Feraligatr actually doing better in the Ultra League, and I think a couple of these Pokemon are going to do better because they're just naturally not as bulky. So in the Great League, they're going to be very, very frail, but in the Ultra League, they will have more bulk and be able to maintain that bulk. So that's Feraligatr, rank 2 overall in the Shadow form in the Ultra League. Again, rank #1 as a safe swap. So this is going to be a great Pokemon to put in the back and switch into. Empoleon is also worth a mention. Again, the Shadow form of Empoleon is the one you're going to want to go after. I believe it's available in Grunts right now. But yeah, Shadow Empoleon in the Ultra League are going to do very, very well. That Steel Wing plus Hydro Cannon combo is just going to be amazing. And also, having Drill Peck is amazing in the Ultra League because of Virizion. Virizion is a very common Pokemon, but it's double weak to Flying type. So having that is going to be amazing for that Pokemon. Also for Poliwrath, a lot of great Pokemon, and Drill Peck is just a great coverage move for Empoleon. Gallade as well, again, in the Ultra League, again, stick with the Shadow form. I don't know if Gallade will be better in the Great League or the Ultra League, but I will say it does have more bulk in the Ultra League, and maybe just the moveset it has, the Leaf Blade plus Close Combat might work out better. I don't really know, kind of hard to say. Overall, again, definitely a Pokemon. I always find Ultra League and Great League, they're very, very similar. We also have Goodra to mention, Goodra in the Ultra League, and especially the Ultra Premier Cup, it'll probably do well if that cup ever comes back. Again, similar to the Great League, gonna be able to do very, very well, especially against some of the other dragons, and having the Power Whip to hit the water types is amazing. Finally, I mentioned Machamp and Obstagoon. Again, Cross Chop got buffed. These things are gonna be better, and especially Obstagoon. I think Obstagoon, Poliwrath is obviously still very popular, same with Annihilape, but if you can get an Obstagoon going, it can be a very, very strong core breaker. You know, that dark fighting typing is just a typing that will just kind of hit different things and you're just never really ready for it. So definitely a Pokemon to consider. Not sure if it's gonna be the first choice though. When it comes to Ultra League overall though, I don't really know if there's too many secret buffs just because I think there was less of a change in this league. Feraligatr is gonna be the main one to be scared for. So we might see things like Virizions becoming a little bit more popular, being able to hit those Feraligatrs for super effective damage, and maybe just more grass types in general. And finally, that brings us into the final league, the most expensive Master League. Now, Master League got something that I don't really know if it was necessary, but Palkia in the origin form was rank 1 before the new season, but they buffed Aquatail, and Palkia learns Aquatail, so Palkia even stronger this season in the origin form, obviously getting completely destroyed by fairy type, so it's not like a Pokemon that just can't be checked, but it just has amazing stats. Like, look at these stats. 252 attack, oh my god, that's scary. A very high max CP, and again, Dragon Breath, Aquatail, Spatial Rend, 3 just great moves to have. You cannot go wrong with this Pokemon. Also beating Landorus Therian, which is very popular right now with Sandsear Storm. So yeah, again, Palkia, very strong this season. Also, you'll notice the other form, the altered form of Palkia, got buffed as well, rank 6. I believe this was like, kind of like, no one really ran altered Palkia before, but now, I guess with Aquatail buff, I think its matchup spread became a little bit better. Not sure if you're gonna really wanna run the altered form over the origin form like ever, but still. It is there for you if that's all you have. Also, I will mention Goodra in the Master League, probably better in the Master Premier Cup when there is no legendaries allowed, but it is a Pokemon again to consider. However, do note in the Master League, wait, why is it recommending Muddy Water? I think you want Dragon Breath, Aquatail, and probably Draco Meteor to hit those dragons for super effective damage. I don't think Grass Knot is gonna have as much use in the Master League just because there's probably gonna be less water types, or if a Pokemon is a water type, it's probably a dragon type as well. And finally, I will mention probably one of the biggest sleeper picks in the Master League this season, Gyarados, Shadow Gyarados. Honestly, I feel like Gyarados has always been kind of a sleeper pick, but Dragon Breath, Aquatail, Crunch, being able to be a great core breaker. It can beat different dragon types like Giratina origin form. It says it loses here, but you could win that matchup. You could beat Mewtwo with Crunch. You could beat Lugia with Crunch. You could beat Dragonite with Dragon Breath. It's a very strong core breaking Pokemon. Definitely something to consider this season. Keeping out on all your favorite content creators and online for different teams you could run with this. Actually, wait, on the topic of teams, if you guys want to know how to find teams on PvPoke, you can come to the train section, top performers. And then in here, he will update it. PvPoke, the man himself, will update it. I don't think this is updated for this season yet, but they will update you with teams like Dragonair, Lantern, Vigoroth, a very strong team last season. Wait till this gets updated and then there'll be some good teams in there. Finally, guys, I will leave you with this. This is a graphic showing you the move counts for all the new Pokemon this season and the different, you know, how many moves does it take to get to each move. It's an amazing skill to have in PvP. Shout out to Young Kujin Go and Eternal Go for this. But yeah, for example, what's a new move? Like, look, for Alligator here, to get to Hydro Cannon, it takes 5 Shadow Claws each time. To get to Crunch, it's 6, 6, 5, 6. Ice Beam, 7 every single time. So again, study this, get updated with all the move counts. If you guys really want to improve at PvP, by the way, check out the video below me because that video fully breaks down the top skills, especially including move counting and how to count moves. Stay tuned every Monday and Friday when I'm going to be streaming and trying to push for Legends this season. Yes, PvP streams are back. Enjoy your day, guys, and peace.